when I teach my courses and I work with my students, I really want them to know who I am in my authentic self, and for them to also, come to the table with who they are and the kind of teacher they want to be. I draw a lot from my experience as an English learner. So my passion in language and literacy comes from the experiences I had as a student that was navigating language and literacy and English and maintaining my Spanish and my heritage. And so I try to teach my classes by building a mindset for my students that the work we do as teachers makes a world of a difference. I share a lot about my personal stories and how teachers were so instrumental in every step of the way in my education. And that as much as my parents could offer and the information that they could share, it wasn't parallel to what my teachers were able to provide for me. So I approach my classes by starting off with this understanding and feeling that all students are capable of reaching with the goals that they've set for themselves and high levels of achievement. And I try to draw from who I am and the population I represent to remind them that, regardless of our backgrounds and our upbringings, that there's potential, and we have to find the way to bring that out of students and to guide them in our classes.
In many ways, she was my person at USC. And I think it was always about learning and growing in her classroom and how to make my students feel empowered, and how using personal stories could be a springboard to critically engage in what it is that we were learning, and the ways in which she would talk to us about how to support our English language learners. And it's not about watering down the rigor. It's about creating those spaces and supporting students and empowering and letting them know that they are affirmed and valued and brilliant, and they bring so much cultural capital to the classroom. And in those moments, I was just thinking about my own story as a first gen and the first person to go to college, and thinking about how my parents were so afraid of me speaking Spanish in school out of fear of me being placed in remedial courses or remediation. So they would always ask me to speak English. And I remember that and how that was so conflicting, because here was this doctora teaching me something, helping me unlearn what I was taught, and it wasn't because my parents were doing it out of malice. They were really trying to protect me in that space. And I think really being authentic and being an academic mother has really been something that I've really tried to emulate with my students.
Really, our relationship was the foundation of it. It was really all about accessibility. My access to her from the moment I stepped into her classroom felt a little limitless in terms of I think I saw her and I held on to her, and I was not gonna let her go. And really our relationship became more than just in the classroom. And as I left USC, I remember reaching out to her because I had a question about something I was teaching and I wanted to know more information. And she was just so approachable and so open to respond to me and give me advice. And then as my role evolved into an intervention coordinator, an instructional coach, and now an AP, every step of the way, she's really been there for any questions I have, or, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? And my family has really had the luxury of building a relationship with her.
I feel like I didn't know who to go to for those questions and those things. And so I want to be that for my students. So if you have a question, ask me. I might not have the answer, but I can find somebody to connect you with. I'll send you to Dr. Pascarella or Dr. Sally, whomever I know might be somebody with the assets or the capital to know how to navigate what my students want to do. So thank you for sharing that, because for me, the other real joy is, I was telling Cassandra and Carolina that the faculty impact for me was more about their stories. That I felt that it was about what are they often doing? What are the things that they're doing with their students? Where have they grown in their work? Because for me, that's what impact is about. It's not so much my story, but how their stories have shown the efforts that I've really tried to engage in my teaching and in my practice, and seeing it realized in all their work. So I saw Ivan in here, and I saw, Cloris was a doctoral student, and then Christine, students that I've seen in other capacities. And I really do hope to hear from students and know what's happening, because then I think it brings me back to DIB's purpose and to the work that we do.